And we back.
All right, welcome back, guys. This is we are your host.
What's
My
up?
name's Nito. We got Drew and we got Nelson.
What's up?
Today we're gonna actually redo our last episode because we had a lot of technical difficulties and stuff, and even then, it was very hard to hear what we had to say. So I believe, and we actually all agree that we should redo the episode. We also have a special guest with us. We're gonna bring up in a minute. So let's go ahead and do what we always do and give out a toast. You know what I'm saying? So this is for all the men and women who is the foundation to their loved ones, who create opportunities that most people don't have.
That's a big one.
That was pretty good. He's getting better.
Am I getting better? I like it.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
You're not. You're getting worse every time.
I'm just.
I mean,
I'm just trying to.
I think I'm getting better. I think I'm getting better.
Yeah. Eventually. Hey, there's always room for growth.
we getting there. We getting there.
What's new? I feel like we haven't seen you in a minute.
It has been
a week.
Yeah. But, about a week and stuff. I mean, I was in Colorado and stuff. I had somehow my deck that in my house almost completely fell over. So my dad and I drove to Colorado and basically fixed it ourselves. It was a mess. We had to take down the fence to use the vehicle that we had to pull it straight, and then us rebracing it and everything. It was
that's nuts. I feel like I'd pull up and be like, "Yeah, I don't know what the fuck to do."
It was almost to that point.
With a deck leaning? Oh yeah, with a deck leaning,
I gotta call. But that's a lot of money, dude.
It is.
It's like you better figure it out.
It was like $2,000 to $5,000 for somebody to come fix it. So it was.
Would it be a motherfucker if like they just did this, they pulled it straight, and they're like, "That's it"? It goes, "Oh yeah, this is guaranteed too." You know what I mean?
Right?
Yeah. How do you like to pay? Yeah, that's
$5,000 later.
I think I learned so much. Like even working on my car, it's like I'm not taking this to a dealership or I'm not taking this to a shop because I'm going to spend way more money. So it's like you try to find all your resources to figure it out. And once you figure it out, it's a good feeling because it's like now you learn something new. You know what I mean? But then I probably forget the shit until it happens again. And I'm like, what video did I watch?
YouTube, though,
Dude, that's a great source.
But there's a lot of mistakes before you can actually fix that shit, though.
Yeah.
And you're like, I
feel like every time I get under the hood, I'm cutting myself in some way, shape, or form. Like I always get beat up and bruised, or like you think it's gonna be easy and it's not. Like some bolt is like, is either stripped or they got so much torque on it you can't get the shit off, man.
Yeah,
it's the most frustrating thing.
True. That is true. But let's go ahead and bring out the guests and stuff.
We didn't even get up the topic yet. What you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
We got to get the people to.
We got to get the people to topic.
You're right.
Hey,
I got
one day off.
I got
one day off.
Go ahead, Nelson. Take it away.
Oh, okay, bet. So right now we're talking about intentions. Like in the last video, we talked about like how business intentions, friends' intentions, families' intentions, an overall broad scale of just intentions in general. How can it help you? How can it hinder you? And which state does it actually help you grow and might diminish
you? Now, see, he's getting better. You're getting better. Now, that was good.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, we have our guest right now. I'm going to let Nieto bring him in. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've known this guy for quite a while now. He served in the military whenever I was in Colorado and stuff. He holds a finance license and he's constantly earning 4 figures as a day trader.
Say it again.
as a day trader, baby, 4 figures a week. You know what I'm saying? That, I don't think people realize how much that is.
I
You know
think
what I'm
that's
saying?
scary for most people. So I think that says something. If you can make it in that, there's something special about you.
It
Like,
is.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I'll even say myself because he is, even though he is younger than me, he is in his 20s and stuff. I believe he's actually 22, 23, and he's making some huge changes. Like
You make a
he's taught
move.
me how to invest even better. Like I already knew how to day trade and everything, but
Yeah.
the way he applies his strategy and stuff, it took my day trading to another level.
it's crazy though. Like people gripe about the new generation, but they're innovative. Like
They
these
own it.
motherfuckers make money playing video games.
They
Like
own it.
there's something about them that they're just money makers. So
Yeah.
like yeah, you gotta and you have to recognize that.
Yeah.
You have to
Well,
recognize.
born in California, living in Colorado. I'd like to present to you guys Elijah Patton.
What up?
What up?
What up?
What's up? What's up?
How y'all doing?
Good.
You know.
man. How are you?
Pretty good.
Yeah. So tell us about what's going on right now, or at least in your life.
As far as
Yeah,
Like
like what's the new
milestones have you
lifestyle?
hit? Yeah.
So, I mean, as I'm sure Nieto has already told you, I'm a day trader. I am in finance as well. But like on a day-to-day lifestyle, I pretty much wake up, trade, maybe it takes 15 minutes, sometimes 2 hours. So, and literally from that, just enjoy my day. I have nothing else to do because my work's done for the day. I already made my month's salary, So
God damn.
Hey,
That's the life.
can you give us like one of the figures, like one of your best figures that you've made?
So I'll give you guys exact number. So I
Oh.
told Chris about it already, but one day, what was it, last week? It was last week I sent it to you. It was 48,000 in one day,
Where he live again?
Colorado.
Colorado.
What's his address?
Oh
Dude, that's crazy. I think that's the dream though.
yeah.
You know, and it's just like, you know, to be able to like still like most people would say that like, you get your life back, you know what I mean? Because you work, but your work doesn't run you.
Right.
You know, you still have time to do what you want. You know, you spend time with your family or you know,
Exactly.
even okay, so for like that, he could really pick up other skills too. I mean, if you worked just like let's say 2 hours, now you have the rest of the day to go maybe learn something else or like, you know, better your strategy or whatever the case. I mean, that's the life. I think that's the true American dream.
That's what I do
think.
too, because I like to read books. So like I'm huge on like manifestation, motivation, and a lot of like business books. So that's pretty much what I do. And if I feel like I'm a little bit off of my strategy for a week, like if like, part of trading you lose. That's part of life. That's
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
Anything you try, you're gonna lose, no matter what. But as long as you stay consistent, your wins are gonna be a lot bigger than your losses. I can tell you that for sure.
Mm.
Yeah.
So with that being said, like I do that all the time. If I feel like my weeks are off, I'll go back and be like, okay, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong with this strategy? Why am I red this week or like losing so much this week? And I'll pretty much just pick up what I dropped, that
Yeah.
next week. And some weeks I'll even trade for 2 days and I'll be like, I'm not feeling it this week or I'm not feeling it today. I won't trade.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that mentality of going, like if you don't have the motivation going into trading, you're gonna lose money. If you don't have the
Yeah.
correct mindset going into that, you're gonna lose money for sure. And that's what I tell, I have a whole community of students and now adding Nieto. So
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Do you feel
how
like
much-
you're different than most people like in your age? Do you find people like as motivated as you with being how young you are, like always looking at improving? You know
That's
what I
it.
mean?
yeah, with my generation, it's like I'm not trying to be cocky or anything, but like I would say I'm above average of my generation for sure. 100%.
talk
Yeah.
your shit?
So, I try to get most people, I post on social media, hey, I do this, I do this. If you want to get into it, let me know. It's an investment for yourself. I told Nito the same thing. Don't think of it as you're paying me so I can make money.
Yeah.
That's just part of my business. So that's more of an investment for yourself because it's more knowledge. The more knowledge you have, the more power you have, the more money you
Mhm.
can make. So like I
Right.
tell people, like learning is earning. Just take out the L.
Exactly.
So I feel definitely for sure, me as a person in my generation, yes, especially
Yeah.
because I'm 24. So especially with me being so young, seeing my friends back in high school, and it's like like no, like I'm not trying to talk them down or anything. Like yeah, it's cool, you work, but that's not
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
You have a job. There's nothing wrong with having a job at all. Nothing wrong. You make
Mhm.
your money, you pay your bills, do what you got to do, right? So it's just me as a like I didn't grow up in a wealthy family. Like me and my brother are the only person that are in business, and my
Mhm.
brother's 31.
Mm.
So like it just gets to that point.
So,
Is what do you want to do with your life?
Right.
so with that, what was the intent or your intention of going that route? Because you see how successful it is. Like, like when you first seen it, it was like, hey, I'm about to go into this field. What drove you to that?
Pretty much, like me, I like to try new things all the time. If it makes me money, if it doesn't make me money, I try all the time because what if it works out? It's always the what if. Everyone thinks,
Mhm.
oh, like what if this happens? What if? Don't think of the what if, just do it. Because what if it does fail? But what if you do good at it?
Yeah.
So don't think about the what if, just do it. And if it doesn't work out, wasn't meant for you. If it works out, then that's meant for you.
Mm.
So, like now with doing that, like my intention now is to just help people grow for themselves, help them be financially free, help them be wealthy, Like it doesn't
Yeah.
happen overnight, but if you
Right.
stay consistent, it'll all play out. Because there's no way you can fail if you unless you stop trying.
Right.
So
Mm.
no matter how long it takes, if it could take 5 years from now, it could take 10 years from now, but as long as you stayed consistent and like when you're 10 years into the future, you're like, damn. And you look back at it, you're like, damn, like that 10 years went by fast. And now I'm making, and I'm a
Yeah.
billionaire, a millionaire, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
like now I just help a whole bunch of people try to change their lives.
Yeah. And
And
No,
that's
listen,
definitely,
that's
and
big.
I can attest to that. I can attest to that. Like I said before, I am one of his students and stuff, and I knew how to day trade. Oh, I wasn't a very good day trader, but I knew the ins and outs. I
mhm,
knew the operation and everything, but my strategy wasn't bulletproof.
the
Mhm.
You know,
basics, the basics.
so exactly, yeah, I knew the base, I knew the foundations, but again, strategy wasn't bulletproof.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, Elijah fucking texted me. He's like, "Hey man, I've been out of the army for so long. I've been studying this." He's like, "I want to teach you what I know." I was like, "All
Mhm.
right, cool." I became a student and stuff, and ever since then, before I was making about 200, 300 tops in day trading and stuff. I'm making my last day trade was 1,000 in profit.
Mhm.
I made $4,000 last week
That's
in
Yeah.
profit.
one day. You can
Yeah.
make that in one day.
And I think that's what like most people, and I have a question for you for like beginners, but like I think most people they strive for that, but they don't reach it. So then they give up.
Right.
Versus and they say seeing is believing. And I'm sure like with you working at it and you finally like pulling those numbers right now, it's so motivating for you to stay with it because you're like,
Mhm.
damn. Like, can you imagine if I really like keep perfecting like my craft? And so my question
Mhm.
is like, what is the best advice for those who want to start trading or who's let's say they recently started and they trade independently?
Come to
Like
me.
we
No,
talked
I'm just
earlier
kidding.
about people trying to like go in and they just want to throw money in and then they want to go at it and attack it themselves without having no knowledge and then they kind of fall flat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like I went through that. I'm sure Nito's went through that. Like everyone's
I
gonna go
went
through
through it.
that, especially with trading. Like there's days where I'm like, fuck, I want to give up, you know? So like
Mhm.
it's just like just starting. If you don't know anything, just continue to learn more about it. Because
Yeah.
YouTube is that's free knowledge. Everyone
Mm,
has their different ways of saying certain things, but it all means the same.
yeah.
At the end of the day, it all means the same thing. They just say it their different ways.
Yeah.
So like for me, like I learned this 3 years ago. and I never paid for a mentorship. I never paid for nothing. So it feels good for me as a person to be able to do all this myself and be able to give that knowledge out to other people so they can become successful. And when people are like, I don't know where to start, I don't know, what to do, and like I'll give you the basics. I'll talk to you about it and stuff like that. I'll give you the basics, and I'll be like, hey, watch this YouTube video, watch this YouTube video, and you know, just learn candlesticks, learn about patterns, learn about what forex is. And some
Mhm.
people will come to me and be like, I have no clue at all. Like, can you do a one-on-one? And you just explain everything to me. And I
Mhm.
will start from the basics. I will start off what forex is, what trading is, what different currency pairs are. Like I'll go through everything step by step. Like you're walking up a stairs. Every step you're not
Mhm.
gonna miss.
Yeah.
And if they and it's a lot of information. Like even though Nito he knew the basics of trading, there was a lot more that he didn't know.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So some people will go on YouTube and be like, "Oh yeah, I know how to trade. I know this." Like yeah, you may know how to, but there's a lot more to it.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
that's what I
Definitely.
try to provide for people that really don't know what to do next or if they're stuck.
Yeah, it's like if you say, "Can you kick a ball?" It's like, "Yeah, I
Mhm.
can kick a ball, but can you kick a ball well?" Like, if you had a point of aim, could you actually aim? Like,
Exactly.
everybody
yeah.
can kick, but you don't really
Yep.
it there is a skill to it.
Mhm.
Consistency,
Hmm.
that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing.
Have you ever had students where, like, they just weren't consistent or they didn't have the intent to get better, but they wanted the results?
Yep.
So, has
Oh,
it ever been a struggle? It's like, "Come on, man, like, I gave
we
you
get
this."
that to this day.
Yeah.
We get it till this day. And actually I have a meeting later on. This student is actually was with me before, and that was a year ago. And
Mhm.
now he's like, "Hey, I want to get back into it. I kind of forgot. Can I schedule a one-on-one?" Yeah, of course. Of
Yeah.
course, we'll go through that again, because you're gonna want to go through that phase where like I'm done with this. Like,
Right.
oh, that's too much money. I don't want to do this. Like you're
Mhm.
gonna
Can
go
we
through
put his course down there in the description so all the people
Oh
that's
yeah,
Oh,
watching
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah.
For
everything, so we
sure.
can let them know because it
You
seems
know,
like he's actually really outstanding and
Right.
and, and
No, and he's
really
he's out
true.
here trying to help the people. I mean,
Yeah.
when you share the knowledge, you are like truly valuable. Like, they say like if you're a millionaire, that's great, but if you actually help other people, like your life is more worth than what you put out.
right.
And so the fact that yeah, you go out and you help people and you seem very genuine, I mean, that's pretty dope, in
yeah,
itself. And we need more people like that. I think everything is
Yeah.
like everybody's for themselves.
And that's the biggest thing too, because I'm really like outgoing. Like I can have conversation with anybody. I don't even have to know you. I can just walk up to you and joke around with you. Obviously, I'll know my boundaries at first, leading up to
Yeah.
that, because I'm a very goofy person. Like I'm very mature, but I'm very goofy. I can be goofy at times. So I guess you can say, a two-sided personality when it comes to business and when it comes to, hanging out with close friends. Like it's two different sides.
Yeah.
So, and I'm
definitely.
pretty sure, like when I was even doing meetings with Nito, like that was my business side. No joking and stuff like that. It was strictly business because
Mhm.
that's not what we're here for. We're not here to joke around. We're here to
Yeah.
change your life and, build up your skill.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
So what I do you offer options trading as well?
so pretty much what I do is day trading. So I pretty much, I guess you can call it options trading, but
Mm.
it's pretty much like, because most people think like, oh yeah, I'm buying to the market and wait for it to go up.
Yeah.
Like people don't understand that you can also make money with the market going down.
Hmm.
Mm.
So it's
Yeah.
pretty much
It's
options
short
trading.
now.
So if the market's going up, you're gonna buy the market. If the market's going down, you're gonna sell the market, but you can make money off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like real estate. Like I've heard that. Like people are like, oh, I'm not going to get into real estate when it's like a bad market. But some professionals would argue that no, like there is no such thing. Like
That's the
Mhm.
best time. Whenever the
it
market is going
right,
down.
right. I mean, you're talking about people like they're paying even with how the economy is right now. People are overpaying for homes,
Yeah.
and you're thinking
Mhm.
that's crazy. And there's still like a very high demand for the market. I mean, the new generation like they're worried about like housing. So even
Mm.
in my area, like now they're building like complexes because there's like they need the housing. So the houses
Mhm.
around the area are selling fast.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that you say that because I think most people are like, oh no, like they kind of wait on it and then they never
Mhm.
do it.
Like Bitcoin, like people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna put $10,000
Mm.
into Bitcoin," and it goes down.
Yeah.
Sell,
But
sell, 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 sell. You know.
exactly.
All
So,
right,
Yeah.
that's
what?
That's what it is.
Elijah, so the episode today is called Intentions and stuff, and obviously you have values within your day-to-day life and within your family and stuff.
Mhm.
Do you believe your intentions actually align with your values?
Mm.
100%. 100%.
100%.
Yeah. Because I like, my discipline, and I'm pretty much, you're doing it for family. I'm not doing it for myself. Like, yeah, it's cool. I can buy whatever I want, but the
Mhm.
main thing is doing it for your family.
Right.
Hmm.
So it definitely aligns with my day-to-day basis because of what I do.
Right.
Now, how often do
You
you
sound like
actually
Toretto right
reevaluate
now.
yourself?
Family.
Now, how often do you actually like reevaluate yourself or even your intentions
Every single day.
Mm.
Every
single
single
day?
day. I reevaluate myself every single day, because I'll look back the day before. Okay, like, what did I do yesterday? If I didn't feel like I was too productive, okay, what am I going to change for today? Okay, since I didn't read this chapter yesterday, I'm gonna read 2 chapters today. You
Mhm.
know, so it's kind of like that self discipline,
Right.
and if you miss something, you catch back up on it.
Right.
So that's mainly what I focus on. It's like
So
small things is like doing stuff around the house, laundry. Like, oh shoot, no, I
Mhm.
didn't really do laundry today. Stuff like that. So
Mhm.
Hmm.
so I would ask with you, like you said, day training, and your intention, like you said, is family, making sure that your close circle, your immediate family is good, right?
yeah.
So now let's look on the outside. How is everybody else perceiving your intention? Are you helping them? Are you like your friends? Are you doing like so like when it comes to that circle of yours, is it a close circle or is it more of family circle?
So it's both.
Okay.
So I focus on my main family, of course, my little circle,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh
Main
yeah.
family. So they gotta be fed, bills gotta be paid, small stuff like that. But I like to give out what I would like to receive.
Mhm.
Mm,
So if I'm helping you, I mean, if I'm being helped, I'm gonna give that back off to you.
Yeah.
So that kind of goes based off of like how I kind of read people at first. Like, when you meet someone new, you're like, okay, they're kind of weird or
oh
they're
yeah.
kind of quiet and stuff like that. So like me, my goal is always to help people, always, no matter who it is. I don't care if you're
Mm,
homeless. I don't care if you're cocky, but there's always information that your mind will take in, especially if you don't know about it. And that's the whole reason why I started up this whole community of trading, is because I
Mhm.
like to help other people.
Yeah. And
So
I think you're
I don't like to focus strictly just on family all the time. You got to focus on other people too, because what if it's your close friends? Like if you're just sticking with family, you're just doing it for money, and you're not really like, it's like, to me, it seems like it's selfish, you know,
mm,
because most people nowadays are like, oh yeah, buy this $1,000 course, spend 3,000 on this, I'll get you set up for this, and then end
mhm.
up, it's a scam, and you're like, dang, I just lost 3 grand from this.
right.
So it's like I don't, like I do charge for my one-on-ones because that's
Yeah.
part of my business, but I'm not. It's $300. You
Yeah.
know, if you can't have a $300 investment, for yourself to better yourself, then that's you. I try to do what I can do to help you. If you don't want the help, I won't give it to you. But if you come back to me and ask for the help, like, no hard feelings, come back. I'll still talk to you the same exact way. I'm not gonna have any hard feelings about you.
Right.
So
That is completely true because
Yeah.
I bother Eli every morning. I'm not gonna even lie. Like I said, he's elevated my day trading to another level and stuff. And
Mhm.
even then, there's this acronym that he tells me that FOMO, the fear of missing out, and it finance is a very emotional thing.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm day trading and stuff, and I'm seeing the patterns and stuff, and I'm like, all right, I see what I'm gonna trade in. I see what I'm gonna put in and stuff, and I know I'm gonna make money. And then
Mhm.
I hold back, and then I'm like, damn, I just fucking missed out on the goddamn trade. I could have made like another $1,000, or I made another $2,000, and it's happened to me. Like I could have guaranteed you guys I could have made like $10,000 last week, but
Wow.
that emotion really gets to you.
Mhm.
And like I said,
Mhm.
I bother this man every fucking morning. Like, hey man, like I'm going through it again. Like, and then he'll
It's
just be
so
like, all right, let's walk through what we talked about. Let's go back to what we learned. Now
Hmm.
let's apply it and
Yeah,
prove it to
I always
you.
tell him go. I always tell him go back to the basics. Don't, because if you start leading off your basics, if you start leaning off your foundation, you're gonna tip over. You're falling over for sure.
Yeah.
So that's why when which is good, and that's what most of my students do. They'll text me and be like, "Hey, I just missed this trade. Like, I have FOMO, fear of missing out." So
Yeah.
like, and if you don't know exactly what that is, it's pretty much if you see, the market's going up, right? So you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go and buy this because the market's going up, and then you're kind of iffy about the trade, and most people have an emotional attachment to money, especially when it comes to trading.
Hmm.
Oh
So
yeah.
so then they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna get in when it comes back here, and then I'll get in, and then boom, it
Right.
just goes straight up. And your original plan, you just missed your original plan.
Hmm.
So
So
that's
I asked you this question. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
you
My
good. You good.
fault. So does emotion play in attentions with what you're doing right now, or how you're like trading
emo-
and everything?
emotions play into your mind. So your emotions control your mind. Your mind doesn't
Mm,
control your emotions. Your emotions control your mind.
Hmm.
That's a whole other subject into like manifestation and mindset.
right.
Is That's the same thing with your intentions as well. You know, if your intentions is to go, you know, go work out, right? You have to have the mentality like get pumped up for the gym or whatever. You gotta, you gotta just do it. That's why I tell people just go and do it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But if you go to the gym and you don't get the results you want, just keep going.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a saying like,
Yeah.
for going to the gym. It's like if you don't feel like going, just get in the car and drive there, and
Yep.
something will change. Or
Mhm.
like when you're there for like 5 minutes, you're like, you know what? I'm glad I came. You know what I mean? And so, um, that is, I agree with that. And then
Yep.
one last, I had a question for you as far as and I kind of know the answer. So it
Mhm.
is, what is the number one skill to have, or the beginning, or something that you need to develop to be a better trainer? And it seems like even when you guys talk about FOMO, like when you miss an opportunity,
Mhm.
you almost have to brush that off.
You
So
do.
you have to, I feel like you would have to have a skill of being able to accept and then moving on from it. Because I think it, like if you focus on always missing out, or let's say you did lose money, the first thing that would get you is your emotion, and then now you're going to be on the fence of it,
Mhm.
or you may not pull the trigger when you should. It's
Right.
like now you've lost the fundamental of
Mhm.
just being able to say, okay, it's a new day, and we're going to attack it like nothing ever happened.
Right.
You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing with trading that plays a part in it the whole time. Like every time, like Nito hit me up and was like, "Dang, I lost this trade," and it's like, okay, you learned from it though, right? Yeah, I
Hmm.
learned what I did wrong. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Move
And I
on to
also
the next
lost some money.
Yeah.
I did lose some money.
It's part of the game. It's part of the whole trading game. You're gonna lose money. Like if you're comfortable with losing, you'll be fine. Like yeah, you
Right.
have emotional attachment to money, but it gets to the point now to where you're making $1,000 a day, and you're like it's just $1,000, because you're used to it. You don't have
Yeah.
that emotional attachment to it if you were to lose it.
Right.
So
I got
just
one
Mm,
more for you.
people to just leave that behind because it's not going to change anything. What is
Yeah.
stress about yesterday going to do for you today? Nothing.
Right.
You learned
All
from
right.
your mistake. If you
And
didn't learn from it, then okay, then think about it and figure out what you did wrong. But if you learned from your mistake that previous day, start the new day fresh. Don't even think about the loss because if you keep thinking about that, that's your mindset, right? So you're going into the market thinking like, "Oh shoot, I don't want to lose this." And you're most likely going to lose it because you're afraid of it now. You're afraid
exactly.
of your mistake that you
mm,
Yeah. I think people deal with that
mm.
like all the time. Even outside of this, it's like,
yeah,
and I think that's why people are so scared to do shit. It's because they're afraid of the failure, or let's say they tried something one time and then it's like it didn't work out. So they're like, okay, I'm just
mhm.
gonna stay here because it's comfortable.
Yep, and
And
failure
for
gets you
me,
closer to, you know,
oh yeah,
more positive things.
yeah,
Not even just trading, just in life.
yeah, yeah. One more question, and then I'll leave you alone. Okay. So what kind of relationship?
This man has been bow, bow, bow.
Dude,
God damn.
Dude, this is interesting. Like, it's another world for me that I didn't really know or understand. You know what I mean? And I think most people, like, I think the audience would agree, was like, you don't think of just the skill work, but the dedication needed. And so
Mhm.
my question is, like, what kind of relationships do you want to have in this field with like trading? Like, I don't know the ins and outs if there's a lot of communication with other people.
Mhm.
But like, so I was reading an article and they were talking about whether you're going to do day trading full time or part time. Full time is obviously more of a commitment because now that's going to be your basic source of income.
Mhm.
And so, like, what kind of relationships do you think you would need with other people in the field, if at all? And kind of like, what is networking like? And I mean, even like you do courses and classes, so like your networking is now really growing because now you're dealing with different
Vast.
people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like now your name, and even networking in a way of just like this, like you're having people hear your side, your story, and then what you're about, and that's going to bring a lot to you. And you're very personable, and you're very like soft spoken in a way where like you're very comfortable to talk to. So,
Mhm.
like for other people, like for them to grow and kind of emulate you in a way as a mentor, like what is building relationships and how important is that? You know?
So, so me, I play every day, day by day. Like I don't
Yeah.
think about the future. I don't think about the past. So I go day by day and what is happening currently.
You said you
So
24?
yeah, 24.
God damn, this man got wisdom like a motherfucker. Go ahead.
I yeah,
God damn.
yeah,
But so like I'm not really like, I'm making the money I make now. I'm not looking to reach out, to Jeff Bezos. So
yeah,
like, networking and stuff like that. So I just let, like I always stay positive with everything that I do. And if I put the work in, it'll come along with it. I don't go looking for it. Because if I go looking for it, it's gonna stress me out more.
yeah,
So and I don't like to be stressed because if you're
Mm.
stressed, you start thinking negative. And
yeah,
so that's the whole mindset thing, right? So that like networking and talking to other people like that'll come with it, like I'm expecting
sure,
that someday but I don't know when,
yeah,
so I'm not really too focused on that because of where I'm at now.
yeah.
So
You
I mean,
So,
should.
so where does the mental stress come in at? Because I know, like you just said, like there's a lot. It's a mind fuck, honestly,
yeah.
to go in and be like, oh fuck, is this candlestick gonna drop or is it gonna go? Like when you're doing it and you see, like you said, your network of people of who you reach out to, like how does that impact the mind
Oh, heavy.
of
That's
you?
the biggest part. Like literally 90% of trading is mental. 10% is skill and strategy. I can
Mm.
promise you that. I guarantee that.
It sure
So
is.
the mental thing, like I was telling Nito, I just became profitable about a year ago, and I've been doing this for 3 years, and I just started
Mm.
making real money a year ago.
Nice.
So it's your mental is the biggest thing. Like your mentality is the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
That's
Uh,
stress right there. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that
like
is a
stress.
lot of
if you
stress.
get used to it over time, the same thing with kicking the ball, shooting the basketball. You're gonna stress if you keep missing your shots, right? But if
Mhm.
you stick
Hmm.
with it, you'll eventually be like, okay, I'm not afraid of missing shots anymore because I'm making shots now.
Right.
Ah.
And does that make
Speaking of
sense?
stress, there's a
So,
lot of motherfuckers
Yeah.
so put that
stress.
with
This man got wisdom of a crackhead. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He got that.
yeah, just align that to any business or trading, anything,
Yeah.
Yeah.
anything in life. So that's kind of the same thing I did. So I pretty much was, I was failing and failing and making money here and there. But now, like, I still have losses to this day. Like, I had a loss like 2 days ago, but that's part of the game. As long as
Yeah.
your wins are bigger than your losses, you're fine. Don't worry
Mhm.
about that.
Right.
So that's the whole thing that I put in with trading because most people are just focused on business and they're like, oh, shoot, I can't lose or I can't fail. The more times you fail, the closer you are to success. That's the more
Mm.
times you try it. And some people are scared to going in and they don't even try it because that's going back to the what ifs. Like, what
Yeah.
if this doesn't work? But like, what if it does? So mentality is the biggest thing, especially with any business, and just
Sure.
applying the simple, like life to life, like playing basketball in high school, just simple life to life things, and adding that to your business plays plays like a long, or it plays out in a good way, because you're not just focused on strictly business. Like you're focusing mainly, um, you're focusing on mainly, what you're doing and your strategy, your skills, and stuff like that. So, but if you lose that mentality, then it's gonna get very rough. But the more you do it, the less you have to worry about failing.
Yeah.
So if you continue to make money and you're like, okay, I'm making money, and if you have that loss, then you're like, oh shoot, I lost. Okay, next
Yeah.
day. So
Speaking of stress, there's a lot of people stressed out right now. So I don't know if you guys heard about this. It's called the Chase Bank money glitch. Have you guys heard anything about this?
Chase Bank money glitch.
Okay,
Yeah.
check this out. So what's going on is people found a loophole where they were able to write false checks and deposit them into the account. And the Chase ATMs aren't flagging them right away. So people are writing checks for like, you know, thousands of dollars. Like one I've seen was 31,000. One went up to $264,000. And what it does is people are depositing them, and when you deposit a check, you only get a portion of it, right?
Yeah.
And there's like a day for it to clear. Well, then whatever portion, obviously, out of 264,000, you're gonna get a good amount of money. People are withdrawing that. So there was on X, there was a picture of all these people in line at Chase Bank scamming these things. And they were like, oh, now we kind of made it and everything. And now people are getting hit with these negative accounts because of course they're gonna catch on. And so one dude, he went on X and he was negative $31,000, and that was his main bank account. And every time he gets a paycheck, they're taking it.
and
Also, what they're doing is they're flagging their name and social to all the other banks in the area. So let's say they try to switch banks and change the direct deposit, it's not going to work. And now people are like getting hit a ton. And people are like, you think it's a joke, but you're messing with a huge bank. You think they're not going to get their money back?
Yeah.
And so now people are stressing out because now their whole livelihoods have been fucked. And let's be honest, it's a felony charge, and there's criminal charges. I mean, it went from like bank fraud, check fraud,
wire
different things
fraud.
like that. People are like, I'm like, man,
I mean, that's
It's just-
self-inflicted though. Like, what do you thought? What you think was gonna happen?
it's a bank. They're gonna get
Like,
their money back.
Like, they got the big lawyers.
Right.
So we have a spokesperson that said, and this is from the New York Post. We are aware of this incident and it has been addressed regardless of what you see online. Depositing a fraudulent check and withdrawing the funds from your account is fraud, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's time. That's not no 5 years. That's prison time.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
great. And people
Prison
didn't think they're not. I don't know what you thought, but yeah, like people are pulling like crazy amounts of money, like $91,000 when one dude was negative, and he was able to like pull that money. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. I'm like, you have to
Hey.
be. I don't know.
Hey,
man.
shout out to the people
ain't-
that got away with it.
To be honest with you, it sounds like this whole like the PPP loan. You remember that shit?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that's what it sounds like. Honestly,
Mhm.
what's
It
happening?
does.
Right.
It does. That's crazy though, bro.
And then
I wonder how people find out shit like this.
right? Like who the fuck? It was probably that one person is like, man, I'm kind of low on cash here. Let me write this check, and then see if it works. And it did. I don't know. I don't know how that leaks. It almost sounds like a setup because
Mhm.
predominantly where it hit in the hood. So,
Sure.
I mean, it's true. I mean, you know what I mean? So, yeah, people are stressing out right now. I mean, there's tons of people screenshotting their negative bank accounts now, like a
So
crazy amount of money.
I'm a transgress real quick.
Yeah.
With your friends in your circle. I know we kind of touched on it a little bit a little while ago, but knowing where you are now, and I know you probably have some friends that are still trying to figure their shit out, but they see you. When you go back to actually see them, like when you go, like in your mind, the intentions that you have, like you said before, are good.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're a down to earth person. We can all say that. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
But but do you know that intention of that person that's actually trying to level up or even ride your coattail? Like how do you deal with that, differentiating yourself from that?
So the sad thing is most of the people I talked to in high school aren't trying to level up, and that's the sad part. And I mentioned
Mm,
it. I posted on Instagram. I post my stories. Hey, this is what I do. If you want to get into it, then you get into it. But that's up to you to make that choice. You know, I'm not going and selling like, hey, I do this and I do that. You know, like come with me and I'll show you what to do so you can make money. Like, no, if you don't want to change your life, that's up to you.
Mhm.
And so like my friend group is literally Nito and one person that I have out here.
mm.
2 people that I barely talk to out here.
Yeah.
But Nito like my main friend that I talk to on a daily basis.
Mhm.
You can say it. I'm your best friend. You can say it.
If you want that name, I can give it to you.
Yeah. I
You
want
know,
that
he
title.
likes a title.
I
Yeah.
like that title.
He loves a title.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like most people, like, if you don't want to level up your life, that's on you. You know, I'm not gonna force you like I'm not gonna force you to want to fix your life. You know, that's up to you.
Yeah.
And so like getting kind of back into the manifesting, like, you know, giving off high vibrations, you know, like you are what you attract or whatever and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like people will come to me. Like I've had some people in high school, like, hey, you know, I want to learn, and then they look into it like, oh, it's too much. And it's like, okay, if it's too much for you, then you know you're gonna be at that level for a while.
Yeah.
If you can't
Yeah.
put in a little bit of work, it's not hard. Like
Yeah.
it's a simple it's the hardest and easiest way to make money,
Yeah.
right? Because it's easy because you just click 2 buttons, buy or sell. But the hardest thing is learning the skill.
Taking the time to do it.
So I know
Amazing.
you had like, so with the amount, I'm not saying, like you said, you just made money in the last year, and I know there are a lot of envious people that you know
Mhm.
that are like looking at you right now. He has these courses, he has this, he has that, he has that, and trying to emulate what you do. How do you like mentally? How do you combat that? Like, how do you stay stable during that, knowing that people are out there that you know or work close with,
Mhm.
um, trying to get what you have, and possibly maybe even trying to cross you to get what you got?
So
How do you deal with that?
I literally just worry about myself, you know?
Right.
Like I don't care, like, because there's haters or people like, oh yeah, you're scamming and you know, it's not real money, you're using this and using that, like a credit card, like stuff like that. Like I've got so used to that stuff because that's what business gives you. Like you
Mhm.
literally you start losing seats at your table. The more you
Yeah.
grow, people like you'll start taking the people that you don't want to be around with. Like if you don't have the same mentality of being successful or wanting to help yourself out, I don't want to talk to you. You know, that's just me. Like I'm not gonna be rude to you. I'm still gonna, you
Talk
know,
your shit.
I won't be nice and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna be like, you know, oh, let's hang out, you know. Like if you're still, you know, not if you're not trying to fix yourself or like even if you have like I'm not saying like people that work jobs, like I don't want to hang out with you, but like people that work jobs and still want to get into trading or get into business or anything or like finance because I'm in finance industry too. So we talk about I talk a lot about finance and trading and digital marketing. I do those are my 3 businesses. But that stuff doesn't affect me, you know.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I just go about my day because, you know, like I told you, it's up to them, you know, and they want to get to my point and they're like hating and, you know, it's not going to change anything. I can
Yeah.
talk back all I want, but it's not going to change anything for me personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
that
feel
doesn't do anything with you and your mental with trading, knowing that there's people that's like, uh,
Nope.
yeah.
I don't know because
fucking, you know.
you're gonna have friends that be like with you in the beginning and like, oh, I believe in you, you can do it, and then they're like, no, you can't, you know, you can't really do it, and so like they're like, oh, laughing at you, you're gonna try trading, like, no, it's a scam, it's just social media stuff, they just make money off
Mhm.
the courses.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, so then now I'm making money, and now people are like DMing me like, hey, how do you do this? Hey, how do you do this? I'm like, oh, now you want to come talk to me now? I'm willing
Ah,
I'm willing to help you. I'm
Sure.
willing to help you. You know, I have no hard feelings. You know, this is what I do. I like to help people. But at the
Yeah.
time,
You gotta have some type of swag and be like, ah, you coming back now, huh?
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
you know, like I'm not like a cocky person, but I'm very confident with everything
Right.
I do.
I think that's what it takes, though. I think that's what a lot of people lack, though, and that's what makes them lazy. Is they don't even have confidence in themselves to even do it,
Mm-hmm.
and then now it's such a habit that it's what's already embedded, and you
Right.
gotta always like, okay, you want to read a book. Let's say someone who doesn't read was like, oh, I want to read a book, at least this year. You gotta open the damn book first. If you
Mhm.
never open the
Right.
book because you're too lazy, because it's like you rather scroll on your phone or you rather watch what's on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
It is definitely a mindset, and
Yeah.
that's what I think. Like, you would be good if you wrote like a book of like your mental focus and like what you think about, to separate and always stay on that path of always growing, because most people don't have that.
Right.
Most people, it's like they're not willing to try, but then they also want, but you can only be mad at yourself. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
like you said, you kind of advertise, people see that, and then they may think, oh, this is a scam or whatever the case may be. But they also say that out of a way to make it where like they're not. I feel like psychologically they have to make something bad about it to make themselves feel better.
Feel better.
You know
Exactly.
what I mean? It's because it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to do that because I know I'm getting scammed.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I'm actually the smart one here. I'm being safe. And people who fall
Mhm.
for it, they're the idiots.
And
But
that
I
plays.
think that's like it's a safety mechanism for themselves.
Mhm.
You
And
know what
that
I
plays
mean?
a part in jealousy too. You know,
Exactly.
like me, if Nito started making more money than me, I'm clapping all day because I'm the one that taught him that.
Right.
Cheeks.
Like,
Wait, whoa, whoa,
here
You
wait a
know,
minute.
we
I guess
go.
it's 2024. I mean, I know who he's voting for right now. So
Yeah, right.
Wait a
Yeah, right.
minute.
Hold up.
But
but
Who
yeah,
said
yeah,
that?
I
yeah,
agree.
that seems like jealousy, and I get that all the time, like I said.
Mhm.
So it's just, it doesn't change
And then I think
anything.
at a certain point,
Makes
like at a
sense.
certain level, as you grow, it's like I can see why you don't give a shit, because it's like you're not really impacting me. You're actually the one who's losing out.
Right.
And then I'm gonna want to associate myself with people who are growth minded, because I
Yep.
can learn something from them. They maybe can learn something from me. It's like you bounce off of each other, and
Yep.
as you all grow together, and that's what a real like friendship is. I think
Mm.
most people want friends. It's like the saying. It's like, oh yeah, I got 4,000 friends on Facebook, but you don't talk to any of the motherfuckers. You wouldn't
Right.
hang out with them. So
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, why say you have a friend if you're not going to gain any type of like benefit from that? You know what I
Right.
mean? So I could see why you wouldn't care, because you're
Yeah.
already doing
I think
things.
that's the
Your
next.
mind
That's
is
I think that's the
focused.
next episode.
And like
What
not
is
to
Mhm.
sound
growth?
cocky or anything, but like I'm gonna say that so many times. Like not to sound cocky, but like I'm like I would like in my mind, I'm like, okay, you don't want to do that? Like it doesn't bother me because I have it and you
Mhm.
don't. They
Right.
don't.
Right.
So like you're trying to make yourself feel better, but I'm the one that has that. I'm the one that's making the money.
Mm.
Right.
Not you. Like not to sound cocky or ignorant or anything, but you're not making the money that I'm making.
Yeah.
So that's why it doesn't bother me.
Mhm.
Talk your shit.
Yeah.
So
I got a
you-
question. I got a question. Now, obviously, the episode is intentions and stuff. And intentions are the why behind why people do things, reflecting desires, motivations, and objectives and stuff. Now, when it comes to your life, your platform, your businesses, and everything, is there a cap? Is there a destination that you want to achieve, and then that's it, or wh- what is your intentions?
so I'm almost at the point to where I can just buy my parents a house and be like, here, you're good or whatever.
Mhm.
Mhm.
This
Like retire them.
Nice. Dude, that's
what
nice.
am
Retire.
I doing wrong?
So
You in the army?
Clearly,
That's what
sign
you're
up
doing
for his
wrong,
course. You got his information right there, motherfucker.
right?
and retire them. And actually, I do have a couple students in the military too that are actually making more than what they make in the military. But
Mm.
back to that question.
Where my
Um,
card at?
that, but
I
like
can't.
there is no cap for me. I keep going. Okay, here's something that I think in my mind all the time. Are you going to play a video game and not finish the game, or are you going to
Mm.
try to beat the game? you're gonna try to beat the game, right? So
It's
that's
like
a
Blockbuster. You got a timeline.
Yeah. I don't know that Black Wukong game. That shit is hard as hell, bro.
you're gonna want to try to beat the game. So life is my game. Until I die, that's my game. There's no cap for me. There's no like, oh, I want to make $1 million and then I'm good. Like, no, I'm going until the game's over, until I die.
Yeah.
If I'm a trillionaire by the time I'm dying, cool. That's where I ended off at. But as like a main goal is to be financially free, obviously.
Yeah.
Which I can say I pretty much am. I'm financially free. And it's just, like I said, day by day, keep going, and like you'll have those days where you make more money than you did, last year or the week before, or the month before, whatever. So there's really no cap, and the thing is just, stay consistent. As long as I stay consistent, there's no way I'm going broke. No way. So, and I like to have my money work for me, because not every day is 2 hours. It's like I'm working part-time. Like I'm a full-time trader, but most of my trades are from 15 minutes to 2 hours. Like an average, maybe 30 minutes if I'm waiting for a setup.
So basically what you're telling me is you got fuck you money. Yeah.
He said
Nah, he got that. He got that. Fuck the army money.
No, not yet.
You know what's great though, and this is about us obviously having kids. His kids are very fortunate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even the people that he helps, like when you establish this sense of confidence in your business and what you can teach people, his kids are going to be well off because they're going to see his dad's work ethic, and they're going to try to emulate that. And there's so much to teach them. You got so many people out here that all they know is what is self-gratifying, which for you, the self-gratification is going to be obviously working, making money, but helping people. Most people have self-gratification, whether it comes to playing video games, or maybe they're not happy working at their jobs, but at least they're working at their jobs so they can do shit like, play video games or maybe buy shit here and there, but they're not really talking about being free.
Right.
Whereas you have more higher goals where your self-gratification, you can actually live life in your 30s and 40s. Can you imagine that? And now you can pass that on to your kids. So that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing
that you're spreading it with people.
Just because they're comfortable. People like that are comfortable. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with working a job and being comfortable with what you make, but that's just not me. Like you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Exactly.
So if you're constantly, like military, for instance, you're uncomfortable all the time doing training. You're wet, you're running, you're tired, you're doing that stuff. You get used to it. So then you're starting to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. So that's the same concept.
Yeah.
Like there's to this day, like even when I'm teaching students, I still learn. And it's uncomfortable for me at times because I've never met the person in my life, and they're like, oh yeah, I schedule a one-on-one meeting, and it's like, oh hey, my first time seeing your face, like I'm uncomfortable, So that's now like I'm getting used to it. So I'm being comfortable with being uncomfortable, and that's the thing. And most people are comfortable where they're at right now because of what they make, and that's okay,
Yeah.
But for me, I'm not working for the next 50 years of my life.
Yeah.
Do you think that
50?
My bad. Do you think that your time in the military and with you getting out and seeing that, like you said, being comfortable with being uncomfortable, do you think that transgressed to your civilian life and how you focused on that and how you intended and your intentions were to like, I would never be uncomfortable ever again? Because you, like you said, you were 11 Bravo, correct? Which is an infantryman if people don't understand. Do you think that actually helped you?
Oh, that played a big part. That played a huge part, and not even just business or what I'm going to do when I get out, just life in general. That played a big part just because I joined the same month I graduated high school. I never lived on my own. I knew nothing about, paying my own bills, like nothing. I knew nothing about civilian. I mean, I knew civilian life, but as far as being on your own, being a young adult. So the military, that's what really made me mature, because I was super immature in high school. Like I was getting in trouble, getting into stuff that I wasn't supposed to be getting into. with the military, that's what really helped me and fixed my mindset.
Mhm.
Even though it was just one contract, that that played a big part and helped me, especially when it comes to maturity. Now that I have kids, I have 2 kids, so that kind of put me on the right track, because I feel like if I didn't join the military, I have no clue what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
No clue. So
Yeah.
that 100%, that definitely played a big part in where I am now, especially
Mm.
as discipline. Like what the military teaches you, discipline. Being uncomfortable, working in hard situations. That's what life is. God is going to throw stuff left and right to make you a stronger person. The military is going to throw stuff at you to make you a stronger person, and that's exactly what the military did for me, especially as a business owner now.
Yeah. Do you believe like you being educated in finance made your odds a lot better in trading? You know what I mean? As far as
No,
like
because
laying low numbers.
the finance department I'm in is completely different from
Okay.
trading.
Okay. Which is
But
good for people. Like so if some people are like insecure about it, like I'm sure like I was reading an article about people like being skeptical about going into it full time because now
Mhm,
that's your main source of income.
mhm.
Like I think that's also almost a good thing. And even with maybe finding a course, like do you think that always continuing to educate yourself is going to make you better? Always like advancing yourself, which I'm sure you're going to say
Yeah,
yes. You
yeah.
know
So
what I
me
mean?
personally, like reading books isn't going to make you rich.
Hmm.
Like
Say it
it's
again. Hold on, wait a minute. I don't think people understand
yeah.
that portion right there.
Most people think that reading books will make you rich. It
Yeah.
doesn't. It gives you the knowledge, but it won't make you rich.
You got to
Mhm.
apply it.
It's up to you to put the work in from the
Right.
knowledge that you learned from that book. You know, like I like reading books, so like I read, but I get that knowledge and apply it. Right. So
Exactly.
if I'm reading stuff about finance and I've never, like, let's say I've never been in finance before, I'm going to apply everything that I learned to start getting into finance. So most people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna start reading a book because this is what he does. Oh, I'm gonna start, doing this because this is what he does." You know, like that's
Mhm.
just reading a book is more of just, like more of that self confidence and knowing more. Like same thing with the
Sure.
gym. You know, like most people are like, "Oh
Mhm.
yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym." Like, but the thing is, like, yeah, you can go to the gym. If you look better, you feel better. So that definitely plays a part, but it's not gonna make you rich.
Yeah.
It's just applying what you learned is what's gonna make you rich.
Right.
Is what's gonna make you money.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
How much would you say? I know. Dude, this is Chris. This is the
God.
best fucking thing you ever done. You've been
Oh
this,
yeah. I
this
feel
is
like
this
there's
is
a couple more
amazing.
things.
Hey, we gonna put you in Chris' position. No, I'm kidding. How much time should someone, if they're getting into it, how much should they set aside of time to invest in
And I'm
seeing
gonna add to
steady
that. I'm gonna add to that real quick.
steady growth?
And
Most people may try to dabble in it or maybe give it a certain time. Obviously, you're at a more advanced level where you can do it for 2 hours a day. How
Mhm.
much time do you think someone should at least invest to understand
and also
outside of
the
maybe
mental
getting
space.
education?
So, I'll put it this way. So the time that you have to scroll on Instagram is your time to put your work in.
Mm, damn.
So
Say it
I,
again. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't
I don't
think they
think Drew
heard you
heard
real
that.
quick.
I don't
Yeah.
think
I don't
Drew
think
heard
they
that. His
heard
ass
you.
is always on Instagram.
You know how many people just scroll just after
hours.
work? Like they just literally scroll. I mean, I've been a victim to that. Like even
Bro,
when it's
get
like, so I
lost
told
in it.
myself this year I'm gonna read more books, and then I found myself like, motherfucker, you're scrolling more than you could be reading. You could be
Mhm.
at least halfway done with this book and onto another book. You know
Mhm.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
How
And
many
it's
Goosebump books you
crazy.
read yet?
Actually, I read 3. I never used to read, so I'm actually doing good. So I'm gonna
I
keep
don't
hitting the
understand what
number.
he really just said. The time that you take to scroll, you can actually take action.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
And
That's
it,
It's
and
all
effortless.
this social media that's holding everybody back.
that's all it
You
Yeah.
know.
is. And people see, like you guys are liking, or people are liking Lamborghini posts, people spreading money out and stuff like that. Like, okay, you like it. What's it gonna do for you?
Mhm.
You know, to
Everybody's
satisfy
liking the dream, but nobody wants to apply it.
you know,
Right.
it gives you that head rush, or not that head rush. It gives you that I guess that testosterone, you know, that happiness, you know, seeing that
Mhm.
like, oh shoot, this car's nice. I'm gonna like this. Let me go on this page, scroll through. Like, why don't you become that person?
So it's kind of like
Mhm.
that person that has that stick out, or the rat that has the cheese sticked out
Mhm.
in front of him, and he's just running, never can get it,
But just
but it's
chase.
just there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what I think that invest for people that are getting into it. I think that's what the investment of time should be. Whenever
Yeah.
you have time to do something else that isn't going to make you better, is the time that you should be making yourself better.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So like me, I'm rarely on Instagram. I like the only time I go on social media is if taking a dump
Mhm.
or I'm about to go to sleep.
Yeah.
It's
That's the only time, you
it's
Yeah.
an
know. You know,
office.
I have that skill set already. So me mentally, I'm like, okay, I can do these things now. You know, because like I did my like I always tell people like, you know, work work hard now so you can play later.
Mhm.
Oh man,
Mhm.
Yeah.
one more time, say it again, please say it again.
Work
Mhm.
hard now so you can play later.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that like, you know, I rather like if some people like, oh, you know, like procrastination, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh no, I'll do it next week. Like no, you're gonna keep procrastinating.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing to get out of, you know, because you're building that habit of procrastinating.
Yeah.
And it's
It's
so easy
all
to build a
about
habit,
habit.
and it takes longer to get rid of a habit.
Yep.
It takes about 3 months to get out of a deep habit, and it takes about 3 days to get into a habit.
Yeah.
So
There's so many talented
Let
people in
them
this
cook.
world that
That,
like if they would just do what they are made to do and not procrastinate, they would be so better off. Even with myself, like
Mhm,
it took us doing this project for me to be really like I have this thing, and I think we're all like this. I know Chris is specifically like this. There's this perfectionist like mindset. You
mhm,
have to do things, and things have to be perfect. Um, my wife sent me this article, and it talks about living life in a revolving door. You
mhm,
always try to prepare for it, but you never do it. You think you're doing something, and it's almost like you have this intention to do it, but you
Mhm.
actually never follow through. You think, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna set myself up to hit this goal, but you actually never do it,
mhm.
and that's what holds you back.
Yep.
You have to have that intent. But no, it's a huge thing. People hold themselves back because they never
Mhm.
do it. They never
And
try.
and what I tell some people too is like I have so much mental stuff that I do to help myself not get in, you know, back into a hole of
Yeah.
laziness, you know, because it's so easy for me to just be like, okay, I'm done and I'm good for the next 10 years, 20 years.
Hmm.
But, you know, me personally, I'm gonna keep going. I do this rule where I count to three, you know. So it's like, oh, I know I need to do this, but I'll just do it after I watch this video.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
count to three. I literally in my head, 1, 2, 3, get up, get right up and go do it. Like every single time, I force myself. I count to three and do it. If I don't want to get out of bed to go walk my dog, I count to three because I have to.
Mhm.
I fucking
Yeah.
piss in the house. So I
so would
count.
you?
That's dope.
My bad. I didn't mean to
Oh yeah, but I
cut
was just
you off.
saying, I count to three, and on three, I'm up. Because if you know you get into
I'm
that
gonna
hole,
use
you're
that.
used to it.
I'm gonna write that down.
So with
Yeah.
with that, do you feel that mental stability or mental unstability plays a part in that? Because like you said, like I have the mindset to do that
Hmm.
because like I've never had that before. With somebody who's lost or who doesn't know where their direction is,
Hmm.
how in your opinion, how can they actually find that? Where can they find that uh I wouldn't say advice, but more or less like goal.
Motivation,
Yeah.
motivation. Like I said, it depends on how bad you want it. It really depends on that because you know, if you don't want to push yourself, then you're not going to push yourself.
Mhm.
It's, it all starts with like even just watching a motivational video, that little bit of dopamine that you get, and like, okay, I'm motivated, and then 30 minutes later, you're like back to your same level.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So that mentality is just the same thing as being consistent,
Yeah.
except for the thing. You know, you got to force yourself because if you don't force yourself, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset that people have to drag out of their mind, like get rid of the lazy stuff. Oh my gosh. Get rid of
You good?
and
I wasn't sure that was my kid.
and force yourself to, want more for yourself. Like
Yeah.
like when I tell people, okay, do you want your parents to work for the rest of their life? They're like, oh no. Boom, that should be your motivation there. That's it. That's all you
Mhm.
need. If you have a
Mhm.
family, if if you have a family and you're kind of struggling, working paycheck to paycheck, there's
Mhm.
another reason. There's so many reasons, especially if you care about family. And let's say you don't care about your family, you just worry about yourself. Obviously, you care about yourself because you eat. You bathe yourself and stuff like that. So you definitely care about yourself. So is this what you want to drive? Is
Yeah.
this what you want to be doing for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I tell people. It's just like, who are you doing it for? Like, what's your why?
Yeah.
Why are
Mhm.
you doing it, and who are you doing it for? So
Mhm.
that's the biggest thing.
Do you have a
Oh yeah.
daily ritual for like when you get up in the morning that you have this alone time with yourself where you say, okay, like what is the goal? Like I come in and I'm sure for you it's so embedded in you right now that it's so natural. So you may not even need to do this.
Mhm.
But what would you recommend for people? Like if they are like even for myself, like I've struggled with like being too lazy.
Mhm.
Um whereas like I don't follow through with some things. And it is a battle and then you kind of make it through it.
Mhm.
But what would you advise somebody like okay, like waking up showing gratitude maybe, or but then aligning yourself with this is how today is going to go. And like you said, manifestation is everything. I've heard so many type of motivational speakers talk about the word of the mouth is a huge thing.
Most people don't believe in it because they're like,
Yeah.
"There's no way it's that easy." There's
Yeah.
no. It's where it got me. So every morning, I can even show you on my desk now. Every single morning, I write my like everything I manifest. Like it's repetitive, but
Nice.
that's what that's what I do. I write my what's the word? My affirmations every single morning. That's the first thing I do every single morning. And so like my thing, after that um I do laundry. Like that's my thing. I clean the kitchen or whatever. If there's a mess, I usually do it at night. But if there's a mess, I'll clean the kitchen. But like my day to day basis, like on a trading day, is I'll wake up, write my affirmations, and then I'll go eat, go do laundry. Kids wake up by that time, and then it's literally just like, okay, what do you want to do today? My morning is the most strict part of my day because that's all I have to worry about.
Yeah.
So that like there's no other really thing unless I have like meetings set up. Then obviously I'll set those up and then kind of like plan my day according to those meetings.
Yeah.
That's literally what I do is write my affirmations every morning, eat, and do laundry if there is laundry, or just do stuff that needs to be done in the morning. That's like my alone time, and then play Call of Duty with Nito.
I know he sucked.
Hell yeah.
You're carrying the team.
Stop it, bro. I'm putting people on litters and carrying them. You know what I'm
Jesus
saying?
Christ.
Dude,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but I'm gonna
amazing.
I'm gonna let me ask this question and stuff. Uh so my views on intentions and stuff is not there. I don't think there's any bad or good intentions. I think there's just intentions, and then obviously there's motives. Now the way people label what people do and stuff is on them. But I
Mhm.
think labeling is just been getting to a point where it's outrageous. Everything has a label now. Whether it's good or bad, whether even like for defensive weapons and stuff, like they always have a bad name because of how people label them. To
Mhm.
me, intentions, like I said, is just intentions. They don't mean to harm anybody. They don't mean to make them any better. But there is those days or there is those occasions where it does better somebody or it does harm somebody.
Mhm.
In your opinion, how do you label or how do you see intentions whenever somebody is either making it better or making somebody's life worse?
So that's the thing. So most people will always focus on the negative rather than the positive.
Mm-hmm.
Most people will well, for instance, on Yelp, let's say you want to go to a fancy restaurant. You're gonna be like, oh, 5 star, 4 star, 4.5, 5 star. That one star bad review, you'd be like, oh, they said this happened. people are going to focus on that more than the good reviews.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing. It all depends on what, like what people say, believe to see. You don't know that for sure. What if you go and you enjoy it? What if you try this and it plays out good? So that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of the thing, that I pay attention to a lot. Is most people are like, oh, I got scammed last time. I don't think I want to do this. Be like, okay, that was that's what happened to you, and it's just up to you if you want to take that risk, because it's all up to you to believe it or not.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
Hey, it's been a pleasure, Elijah. It honestly has.
Yeah, sure.
Through the knowledge and
Definitely.
everything you have to actually offer this podcast. I truly thank you, and I'm pretty sure Nieto and Drew also does thank you for
It's
everything you
insane.
had to input.
It is
Oh,
insane.
Man, it's been a pleasure. If you really do want to get into trading and date or live trading, his Instagram's down below. He has a course already out. Please hit him up. Like he said before, he'll take you step by step, just like a stair, and you will not miss a step.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I
But
appreciate you guys having me. It was definitely
hey,
a good.
man,
This has been great. This has
Oh
it
been
yeah,
has.
so much knowledge just for people and not just in trading, but just a mindset in general.
in
I
general,
think
yep.
as men and even in women, and I mean, these are the fundamentals of being successful. Is you have to kind of go through these steps. You know what I mean? And so, dude, it's been great.
Appreciate
hello,
it.
man. Hope we
Uh-huh.
can talk more. Hopefully we can do this again. I know you got a
Yeah,
business meeting
sure.
that you need to attend to, but lo and behold, you will be on the podcast again when
Oh
you
yeah.
have
Next time we'll talk about finance.
time.
I like that.
Dude,
I like that.
let's do it.
Definitely.
We got to do it. It's already done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Well,
Uh,
we'll talk to you later.
Cool.
All
You
right.
guys have a good one.
All
See ya.
right. See you, man.
Peace.
Man,
that was brother.
Brother,
Chris,
the
and
information
I don't know.
for
You
a
might get roasted.
24-year-old to have this much information, to be this
That
mature,
man.
and to realize what he wants to do and how to be successful within his life this early. You can't ask for anything better.
That's
I know.
rare.
But
It's
you know
rare.
what? That's the great thing about like everyone has this like daunting look about like the future. But
Mhm.
if you think about it at 24, like I know, like as I grew up, my family was not as put together that young.
Mhm.
It takes like every generation gets better. You know what I mean? And I know he's not like everybody else, and even he mentioned that, is that he doesn't feel like he's a part of his peers and he's different. It is good to see that I could see him definitely being one of the head leaders,
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
even mentoring people outside of business, having a mindset the way that he has it. It's like
But
this
his
growth mindset.
intentions, like we said before, like his intention, he was mindseted on
Yeah,
what he wanted to do. He intended this. He manifested this.
right,
Mhm.
And so
right.
now, like, his affirmations are coming true. It's kind of like now people have to step back and be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
you actually really doing this?
yeah,
Like, this is I want to do
Yeah.
what you're doing
right.
because he intended on doing that.
Yeah,
Support for his family, support for his friends, support for his whole aura that he has right now is positive. And like I said
yeah.
before, please give him a follow. Please give him a
Oh,
follow.
dude, I'm gonna follow him in a
Definitely.
minute.
Definitely.
After the show,
Definitely.
it's yeah, no, I
Now,
completely agree. And just man, it's almost it makes you almost speechless. Like, damn, like just the wisdom.
Yeah.
And you know what?
yeah,
The next time we have him on the air, I want to ask him about like his upbringing in a way of like what made him different.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's
mhm.
because there's a lot of
Mhm.
people who are successful in this world. I always struggle with successful. I don't know what the fuck it is. But what gave him that change to be different? Like what was there a role model? Was there something that he's seen? Like there was somebody on TV that made him like want to be this person? Come on, man. He's mentoring your ass. I
I
mean,
mean,
Yeah, your
look,
grown
look,
ass.
look. Hey, I'm just gonna lay it
your
out.
own
You know what I'm
ass.
saying? Like, I was his teacher. You know what I'm saying? I was his squad. I was his team leader. Then became a squad leader. He was under me the entire time. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but you know,
Get the
toot
hell
toot,
out of here. This dude,
motherfucker.
I'm gonna have a beer now. I'm gonna be fucked up. Now.
But no, like he's. I'm not gonna lie. From when
Dude,
I
is
first
dope.
met him and stuff, in the army and stuff. Like I said, I met him whenever I was coming back from Afghanistan and stuff. So I already had that fucking adrenaline, testosterone fucking injected in me and shit. That I was just a fucking hard hitting fucking a fucking hard hitting fucking squad leader that like every mistake that they did, you know what I'm saying? Like for especially in the infantry, I like to put stress
Yeah.
within the new Joes and stuff, so that way they can see, at least they can. It'll be easier for them to adapt into a stressful situation, and especially going to a deployment combat area.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, like I said,
Dude, you know what? To be honest with you, like I was a little intimidated in a way. So here's why.
Because I'm broke.
When you talk about when you talk about some or speaking with someone, and I'm working with like my lawyer friend of mine, so I'm kind of, and like he said, like knowledge is everything. So I'm working with this attorney and I'm not getting paid for it. It's almost like it's a mentorship. Like knowledge is everything, so I don't care the fact that I'm not getting paid for it.
mhm.
But here's the thing: when you talk to somebody that may have more knowledge than you, for some or a lot, can be intimidating because you feel like how like you're not worth their time.
Mhm.
He is so easy to talk to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he is very personable and soft spoken. That he's not giving off this vibe like an Andrew Tate type. Andrew
Kinda
Tate
like
has this
I'm better.
thing of
Like I'm better than you.
yeah,
type
like
thing.
motherfucker, like this is what you need to do. Like, no,
Yeah.
he gets down with you. He's not, there is no feeling of like you're less than he is, which I think
Mhm.
is also going to help promote his business and why the audience should, if you're thinking about it, maybe if you're on the fence of it, um, maybe check him out. You know, he's not going to be that person that's going to make you feel like there's this pressure. He's going to give you the steps, I'm sure, and he's going to help you kind of work through it at your pace. Now,
Yep.
there is a thing of discipline for yourself, and he's going to probably be up front and say, hey, if you want this, this is what it's going to take to get there. But outside, after talking to him, it's like he is the most comfortable person to talk to. And then within that, if you X out that intimidation, I mean, listen to him and you're gonna grow. And like,
Yeah.
you know, I know Chris, you're doing it.
Yeah.
And that
No,
just
and he's
intrigues
definitely
me to
helping me
do it.
grow.
I mean, is
Yeah.
that not like the American dream? To
It
not
is.
work
It
a
is.
9 to 5 job and then you can spend the time doing what you want to do to better yourself.
But
I
it
mean,
also
that
comes
truly
with.
is the American dream.
But that also comes with your intention to do it.
Mhm.
Like
Exactly.
it's not gonna happen
Exactly.
unless you do it or act
Yep.
upon that intention. Like, because I
Right.
know plenty of people right now are like, man, I'm like he said, I'm so sick of this 9 to 5 job. And I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of that. But don't really apply it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So where do we break this circle? Especially in the minority group. Like where do we break this?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it starts with the intent to be better.
Yep.
Now I'm gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate. All right.
course you
Ooh, I
will.
love
There
it.
is
I
Of course
one
you
love
will.
it. I love it.
There is one thing that I do not agree with Elijah, and
Mm.
that's motivation. Motivation can only take you so far. Is that discipline to keep on going, to make sure that you're following your strategies, to following
Mhm.
your values and following your motives. Now, like I said, motivation can, like, you can watch a video and motivate you and stuff, and then like, oh, it can take you to the gym.
Yeah.
But then you're at the gym and you're like, all right,
Yeah.
I
I
can
get
do
it.
this for 10 minutes and then I can leave. And that's
I
But
get it.
but
The
also what he
dopamine
has
hit.
said was, yes, you can have the motivation, but you also do need to know the knowledge.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
Because if you
confidence.
don't know how to work out,
yeah,
you go to the gym,
yeah.
like you just said, you're just there, just what am I supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
How do I what is hypertrophy? Like what is that? Like
Yeah,
how do I build, so like with both of those, motivation and knowledge,
yeah.
you can go far.
No, definitely. No, I completely agree. And like I said, I completely agree with it, Patty, too, except for that one thing. That motivation is only going to take you so far.
Yeah,
And I
that's
don't want the
true.
viewers
Yeah,
to forget that either, because it's all about
yeah,
discipline. And
Yeah,
whether you're day trading, whether you're in the army, whether you're trying to better your life or look better yourself, it's all about that discipline.
right.
All about that discipline.
And I think that starts with routine. You have
And
to
it does,
start a
yes.
routine because once you get in a routine, it is so natural for you. Like you tell me you still get up and you still run. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you are
I do
fucking crazy.
Yep.
But
10
every
you
miles
know,
a
day.
day.
it's so embedded in you that it's almost naturally gonna happen.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, again, I talked about I'm gonna read more. It takes setting aside I'm gonna read a page a day. You have to make it normal in your day-to-day life for
Hmm.
it to even make
Yeah.
sense. You can't say I'm gonna do it Wednesday and then I may do it Thursday or I may do it Friday,
Mhm.
maybe Saturday. It has to
Hmm.
be consistent till it becomes a habit. And once it becomes a habit, then it's gonna become something so embedded in you that you're gonna succeed in whatever you do. And
Yeah.
it don't feel bad if it is a struggle. I think we all struggle. Like I think even with Elijah, like he had to come to a point where it was a change in his day-to-day routine.
Hmm.
But the first thing I think is you have to recognize that I struggle with having discipline and then saying like self-manifestation and you're saying it today I'm going to read. Today I am going to put an hour's work in understanding how to day trade. How do I get better? I'm going to look at the material. Like today I'm going to do it. I think there's so much negative um this self-hate that we say how stupid we are or how much we failed it's easy to go to because I think the emotion of having this self-pity it has this endorphins hit that like it's so easy to go to. I can't tell you how many times back when I was in high school that I had this feeling of like feeling sorry for myself
Yeah.
because I didn't have like this friends group because I moved around so much. But it was so natural for me to get into this like depression that there has to be a point where you recognize that okay, I hate how I feel. I want a different life. I have a family now. I need to make a change. And
Hmm.
so it goes about habits. And I think and that even for all of us, like even just doing this, it takes courage for us to be out
Oh,
there and be this.
massive courage to do
Yeah.
Exactly.
what we're doing.
And you like even the last episode we had people even saying like things that like you're not how are you talking about psychology when you're not licensed for that?
Hmm.
And so you're going to get the negative, even for him, even like just talking about the people that are saying that maybe what he's promoting is a scam. Like you had to
Hmm.
move kind of past that. And it just takes the courage to do it, but you have to do it in order to see growth. And so
Hmm.
we come back every week and we do it. And even last week was a bump in the road and we didn't give up.
Yeah.
We have to come back and do it because we know for one, it's easy for us because we have a team,
Yeah.
but even if you're doing this by yourselves and we don't really talk, we talk during the week, but individually, all of us have things that we personally deal with that we have to overcome,
Hmm.
And so in this situation, it's easy because we have a team, but our day to day, it's just us.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
I feel that too, because a lot of people kind of undermine, I wouldn't say what we're doing, but how we're going about it,
Mhm.
just
Hmm.
due to like how they perceive success is,
Yeah.
or how
Hmm.
they perceive like motivation, or even going forward and how to do things.
Yeah.
And I get
Hmm.
that and I understand it. But the thing is though, like we're just trying to make it for ourselves. We're trying to make it for our families. It honestly, this is more or less like a hobby. I'm not
Sure.
like in of our
Sure.
bleh, of our bleh.
Hey,
Spit it out.
success for me.
Jesus Christ.
Spit it out. I know it's in the back of your
Of
throat.
yeah, I know that. God damn. But of all of ours, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why it's the legacy of ours, because it's all of ours. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not just mine. It's
Yeah.
not mine. It's ours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So,
then we're
and
not
I
even
think,
talking about just us as the host or anything. We're literally talking about everybody that's watching this and everybody that wants to be a part of this, whether they're a guest or they're just somebody commenting on in the comments and stuff. Which it's the beauty of it, you know what I'm saying? This is the beauty of YouTube, that we can literally play what we want and talk about what we want,
Right.
and hopefully there's going to be people that is siding on the other side and it plays devil advocate on what we say, and then there's gonna be people that's on our side and be like, hey, I understand what you're saying, and
Right.
it's great. I love reading the comments about it and shit, and
For sure.
most definitely.
you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Most
absolutely.
definitely.
And see, that's why we gotta
man.
love free speech, man. That's why you gotta vote Trump 2024. I'm just joking. I'm just you know Nelson hates that shit. We gotta keep the free speech. No, I'm joking. But no, and in all seriousness, this is what this is about. And this is why I
Yeah.
love this project. And just so much what this man, it was just amazing. And it's just to know that like we're normal people.
Mhm.
We're not nothing special, even though we're gonna be millionaires and billionaires. Of course, we're gonna be
Of
that.
course, you know what I'm saying?
But the thing is that we're just normal people, and there's nothing that's different between us and you. The only thing that would maybe be different is that we have maybe more of a drive, but doesn't mean you can't develop that.
No,
And the
I
great
wouldn't even say
thing is
that. They do have the drive. They just don't have that push.
that intention.
Mm. Let
What
me
did I?
point- let me point too.
I
Let me
see
get in
what
that
you
too.
did.
You know, so I wrote this whole thing. So I wrote this whole thing about like notes of intention. And when you think of intention, there's so many different things. Like, I know the episode that we did last weekend that we had some issues. Chris made a whole point that he hates it because it's so vague, it's so broad. And if you think of the intentions, that you know, Chris has the view that there's no good and bad. But in my opinion, there is a good and there is a bad.
Oh yeah.
And just because it talks about the moral standpoint of the individual. Now, when
Mhm.
you talk about intentions, and that's just a definition of ethics. Now, intentions, if you look up and it's defined as an aim or plan. So, like, I have an intent to follow through with my New Year's resolution to go work out, or I have the intent to make this person feel bad to make myself feel better. So, that's a bad
Mhm.
intention. So, when you look at intentions, it's such a broad thing. Uh, but I think the main thing outside of the emotional intentions of other people, the intent of bettering ourselves. Because I think
Mhm.
in a situation where maybe you're in a job that you don't like
That's
and you're around
dangerous
people that
waters
you
right
don't
there.
like, you need to have the intention to find a different way of living. Maybe let's get a different job. So yeah,
So
that's
so so what you're saying,
yeah,
and how are you going about, and I completely agree but disagree on that one,
yeah.
because like you said, I have the intent to do this. I have
Mhm.
the intent to go out and make sure I get a better job, or I have the intent to make sure I'm better with my kids.
Yeah.
But the thing is though, like, with not everybody has the same intent as you.
Mhm.
So the intention that you have might be, like you said before, might be good,
Yeah.
but somebody else sees that
Oh,
as negative.
hell yeah. Oh,
So
it's all about it.
yeah,
Interpretation.
yeah, exactly,
It's so much. Like
And
I
that's
wrote
why
this
I say I
example.
don't think there's a bad or good intention, because it's all about how people view things, right?
their
Yeah,
Because it
perspective.
is the why of what people do things, right? So
yeah.
there's not a good or bad for it. There's just motives, there's desires, and there's objectives.
Mhm.
You know,
I
so
can see that. I think you're kind of scaling in between just because like I
Yeah.
could say like my intention
it's that
my
it's, I'm
my
telling you,
intention is to rob you, and so my intention is to scam you. But then there's also like that intention, and I had an example like, okay, I have I'm pushing my friend to go to the gym because I can see their lifestyle is leading to a bad health outcome. And my intent is because I care about them for one, and the intent is to them maybe possibly eating better, going to the gym, versus me saying, my friend, oh, you're fat and
Mhm.
you need to go to the gym. My intent is now to hurt them. I could give a shit if they go to the gym because I'm using the intention and the bad intention to make probably myself feel better. So if we go back to ethics, it talks about a plan or aim. And my aim in that statement, even though you would think that they're probably helping you because you need, if you they call you fat and you go to the gym, it's gonna lead you to a road of probably better health. But for that person saying that, the intention is to make themselves feel better and it's power. Because and
Is
that's why like I feel like there's like a when it comes
Ooh,
to like
now
create
you just
laws of
dived
power.
into a deeper realm.
You know what I
Okay,
mean? But like
so
there
but
is a
it's
I
sense of
don't see it
power.
that way because what if I came up to you and be like, "Hey, you're just weak," but I don't mean it in a bad way.
Well, I think that
that's what
it's
I'm
all about
saying.
context.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
think.
Like I don't mean it in a bad way. Hey, you're weak. Your bench is weak. I'm
Yeah.
stronger.
You can't bench
Now
225.
I'm giving you the power, the motivation,
I think it's
the
different.
intent,
Yeah,
I
the
see,
think I
intent
don't
that's
know.
to
that's
push
where
you
I
a
was.
little
I
bit
was.
more. You know what I'm saying? Just to push you a little bit more so you can
I
focus on
don't
that
know.
muscle group. So that way you can be like, I'm not
Yeah,
weak.
but here's the thing. Like my first example, you're saying that to care about me. Like you're
Yeah.
saying that because
Am
you
I,
may
or
possibly
do I
want me to
really
get
have some intent to
better.
actually, like you said, am I? Do I really care about you, or am I just
Yeah.
really just trying to
If I
hurt you?
call you
And that's
fat,
where and
I'm just saying that I want you to feel shitty about yourself. If you go to the gym, that's gonna piss me off because you're gonna actually get stronger. When in that intent was for me to really hurt you so I can feel better about myself.
but I
You know what
believe
I
you're
mean?
only saying that because you're just a malicious person. So
Okay, but that's still intent though. That's why
no, but
intent
that's the
is so
thing.
vague.
I don't know how to beat around the bush, so I'm gonna be forward about what I say.
Yeah, you're a
I don't know
dickhead.
how to
You
say,
know that.
hey, your form is okay, but I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that where it doesn't hurt your feelings. Hey man, your form kind of sucks, so this is
Okay,
how you should do it.
I know,
You know
but
what
you
I'm saying?
say it out of
But
love
I'm
though.
saying it out of love. I'm saying it out of I want to better you, so that way you don't
But your
look like
intent is made for
stupid.
good, though. You see that?
But
Like
that's the thing. You're perceiving it as good or bad, so you're labeling it.
perception. Yes.
You're
yeah.
labeling it.
Oh shit.
You're labeling it.
Say it
Thank
again.
you for
Perception.
Your
thank
perception.
you for
But if
proving me
if
right.
I said you were fat, or let's say like I said you were stupid, like there's also a bit of like, okay, for example, Elijah, he's gonna talk to you and he's gonna be as personal, and not everyone's the same. Clearly, obviously,
Mhm,
Christian, you're gonna be more upfront. You're gonna be in
mhm.
your face. Okay, motherfucker, you want to day trade? You better get your shit in order. You better be disciplined, motherfucker. You better be reading your shit. That's you. Elijah may be like, okay, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what you gotta read, and you gotta do this. And if you want it, that's what you're gonna get. You both kind of have the same intention, but at the same time, if I say to someone like you're fat, it's really got to be, and that's why I go back to ethics because like it's about what your heart wants. It's about what the plan is. Like if
It's
I
about
want to
what you
hurt
So,
see.
you,
so is that ethics or is it morals?
Yeah, it's about what you
Because
I
see and
think
how you
there's
take
two
it.
different.
I think your morals and ethics are there's like a thin line of where them being the same because that is your perception of how you act and your behavior. So like I don't know. I just think it's more like, you know, if I w- if Chris said that to me, "Hey bro, you weak." And then there's no like good critique with it. Like, "Hey bro, you're weak because your form is shitty. And you got some weak ass like triceps. So go do some like tricep pull downs and strengthen that shit." That's
I
one
think
thing versus you say, hey, motherfucker, you a weak ass bitch. You can never bench 225 and then walk away. You know? And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll never bench 225. And
so.
then I and
Valid.
then I go in and have poor form. You see
So
what I'm saying?
that comes with three things,
Yeah.
right? One, what your intent is as far as what you're trying to communicate,
Yeah.
Mhm.
how you do it, I think plays a big part, just like how you said. And when is the right time to actually do that,
Mhm.
to describe your intent? Because not a lot of people actually understand like not everybody is like themselves. Like
Yeah.
you have people who are more sensitive, you have people who are more like you just described. People who are more masculine are like, no, yeah, okay, I got that. Or more feminine, shall I say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think more of it is just a delivery of how you say it with your intent,
Sure.
Hmm.
if that makes sense. Because
Yeah. I mean, it's basically what Jump just said. How you deliver what you're trying to say to your audience,
Yeah.
yep,
right?
And
So
sometimes you can't even like get around it because I think intent is the biggest thing. Also, it's delivery, but it's
yeah,
also the main thing is intent because the intent is where it's gonna go from there.
I
And then like
I I,
then
I
we
feel
start
like
talking
you're.
about intent in action. So for example, like what Elijah was talking about. He was talking about like having the intent to want to get better. So it's the intent in action where it's like I want to have more intent in my relationship with my spouse.
Hmm.
Like I know there's some things lacking with me giving attention. So you have to be intentional to make that relationship better or it's going to go down the drain. Or like if we're talking about the New Year's resolution, I have intent to actually go to the gym this year. But if you don't have that intent for action because you don't connect with it, you're not going to do it. Um, in the book 48 Laws of Power, it talks about hiding your intentions and
Hmm.
making people think that you are one way, but in reality, you have a master plan going on in your head. And
Hmm.
in a way, in a business standpoint, I understand that just because if you start vocalizing, and there's an article I read, if you start vocalizing your intention, you may start to get competition from other people, which in
Hmm.
the book, it also states that competition is good because it keeps you on your toes. But, let's say as we're talking like intention, as far as like hiding it, maybe it is I can kind of understand that because you don't want to let people know what your plan is,
Hmm.
and so that I kind of understand, and that's what mainly the book talks about.
Hmm.
And it kind of in an article I read, it also says sometimes it's good not to, because I kind of had some gripes on it
but
as far as hiding who you are and what your plan is. But at the same time, there was an article I read that talks about when people start to say what they are doing before they actually do it, they have this false sense of winning. So like they say, "Oh, I'm going to take this course. I'm going to be, in doing like this real estate course." And they say it. They feel like they've done it. They get praise from their friends or the people. And they're like, "Oh, you're really doing that?" It's like, "Fuck yeah, I'm going to try to better my life." And they think that is already a win before actually doing it. So the book talks about
Hmm.
actually hiding your intentions.
Hmm.
So in that way, I actually kind of agree with it, but they can go both ways. What do you think?
so with hiding your intentions, honestly, me personally, just my opinion,
Yeah.
before I get beat up in the comments.
Well, they're gonna beat you up. I'm
Yeah, as always.
Go
Um,
for top ropes.
is if you're hiding your intentions, okay, I'm gonna put it in a perspective that people can understand. So I have the intention to be with this female, well, with my wife, Kimberly,
Mhm.
right? But I don't show it to her.
Yeah.
I act cold. I keep all. I'm self reserved. I don't talk about what I got going on. I don't do any of that. What the hell you think she's gonna do? She's gonna be like, oh well, I thought you liked me, but
Yeah.
okay, I guess I'm just gonna move on about it. So now you just lost out.
Yeah.
I think in certain times you do need to explain what it is,
Yeah.
but I think that comes with knowing, like, other episodes, knowing who's friend and foe.
Yeah.
Because if you can do that and differentiate that and actually explain that, I think that your intention will go far. But
Do you
Hmm.
think that's also
with letting,
vulnerability?
hmm?
Do you think that's also being vulnerable with your spouse or partner?
But you have to be at a certain
Sure.
point.
Sure. You think
And
men
what
struggle
I'm
with
saying,
that?
a lot. A fucking lot. I can say that I'm one of them. Like
Oh,
I
for sure, dude. For
like
sure.
I think you also guys gotta realize whenever it comes to the other side of your spouse, whether it's female or male, that their struggles, their stress is completely different from what we carry. You know, so
true.
our stress where we think we're at like 90%, their 90% may be our 10%. So now we have to like basically put our feet in their shoes and stuff and actually try to realize, hey, you know, like I understand you're stressed. I understand this is going on, or I understand whatever the case is and stuff. But you have to understand my point of view.
So I will
Right.
ask you this. So have you ever even put your wife's shoes on?
No, they're
Have
too
you ever
small.
tried to have it?
You know he did, motherfucker. You know who he's voting for, goddamn it.
But what I'm saying is that
Harris
like
and Wall. I'm just
So
kidding.
now I
but,
will
but what I'm saying is that like yes, we do have a lot of things that are going on.
mhm,
But let's step in their shoes.
mhm,
She's either cooking,
mhm,
taking care of the children,
mhm,
waking up early to get them up for school
mhm,
while you're still sleeping, to
Mm.
make sure that she actually looks good for the day.
mhm, mhm.
But all we're focused on is how much money we got. I need to make sure that everything's taken care of. Like we got the car note, we got this, we got that. So I mean, it's kind of like where is that trade off? Because
I,
what I'm seeing is not a lot of men that actually can do that in a woman's role.
right, right, and that's a good point that you brought up. It's a role, right? Everybody has a role in the relationship. Now, my role in the relationship is going to be completely different from hers. Now, when it comes to looking good or taking care of the children, that's not a role. That is, it's something that's mandatory. That is something that you brought into this world that you've promised that you will take care of. So it shouldn't be a role. It shouldn't be anything but, hey, these are my children, men and women, and
Well, yeah,
we're
but
gonna
what I'm
we're
saying is, so you have two different, like you just said, like roles. Like, what is your role right now?
what do you mean?
Like,
Like, what
like,
is
like
my
you just
role as as a husband in this relationship?
yes, it just
So
in general, not
yeah, I'm the
targeting you in
provider.
general.
So I'm
The
the provider
provider, right?
financially, yeah, financially and emotionally. So that is my role as a husband in my relationship.
I think it's hard though. Like I think men tend to fall short. And in defending both men, but understanding like the mothers in the parenting and making a house run,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much demand on the man to do certain things
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
that we tend to forget what takes to actually raise a family. And I think that's what's really hard. And I think that's why our guest was so great, was because he's living a life of financial freedom where you can provide while also being there and being a part of what it calls being a parent. You
Right.
know, because when even for me, as an example, like I go to work and I work 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to coming home, it's like, I don't want to do that. So majority of my energy has been worn out doing and working for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of marriages fail because of that, on top of like the lack of communication. And I think as men, we have to be strong, we have to be resilient. And I think a lot of that means masking emotion. And then
Mm-hmm.
you start to lose the intent, as we talked about, you lose the intent of actually working on your marriage. And I think we all fall victim to that because we're still growing and we're still young. And beauty of our podcast is about understanding that we are normal people and that we're not preaching, we're telling you our experiences. So even as a man, we get lost in our main roles as being just providers in certain things. Where you're like, all
Mm-hmm.
right, mom's gonna give you this, mom's gonna give you a bath, mom's gonna worry about the food, mom's gonna do this.
Hmm.
And that's where we lose that connection. And that's
Mhm.
where I think a lot of marriages tend to fail. But when you start to learn to advance yourself, if you're talking about day trading, maybe you're talking about trying to get passive income. I think the main focus of people nowadays in America is to learn to try to get passive income. If you have passive income, you tend to learn to have less stress in your life because you don't really have to work as hard. And imagine if you find a niche that you're in, that you progress in, now you can spend more time as a family. And I can understand when people talk about the system in America
Yeah.
where your main focus is to work and spend
Hmm.
less time at home. And there have been men that can do it. But can you imagine if you can work 2 hours a day, and then now you're maybe, like he said, like Elijah said, he works on the stuff in the house. He's doing dishes. He makes sure the house is clean. Mom
Mhm.
gets home. She's working a regular 9 to 5. Now he's able to engage with his children and teach his children. Man, that's the American dream. If people talk about having a white picket fence, maybe that's not all it. All
No,
it is
I
actually
I
having freedom,
I agree, but
Welcome back to the Legacy of Ours.
Oh,
I
okay.
appreciate you joining our
Oh yeah,
Thank you. Please comment, like, subscribe, all of the
yeah. What do
above.
you think?
Thank you so much. We'll love to hear your comments on this. We'll love to have an intricate conversation about it as well. But yes, thank you
Uh,
for following the Legacy of Ours.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, to keep you guys updated, we had an amazing guest, um,
hmm
Elijah Pat, uh, um,
Elijah Patton.
Elijah Patton, and he talked about his life as being a day trader. We have probably some keynote to fast forward to this episode and kind of get yourself kind of caught up with what we're talking about. But we're talking about also intentions as a man and as a person. And so just to kind of keep you guys caught up, but there's just so much to listen to in the
Oh
first part of
yeah.
this episode that I feel would be beneficial. Uh, but yeah, that's kind of my
So
thought on that.
so with that, like I said, diving into the realm of switching roles, how many men do you think can do that? Or can say
Ooh,
they you know what I mean? Like how many men can say they actually do that or
It's
will do that?
that's very hard because I mean, ever since I've left the army and stuff, I've literally got to a point where I'm learning how to do other things like clean the house. Well, I mean, not learning, but like it's starting to be part of my life. You know what I'm saying? Where
yeah,
my wife
Yeah.
is actually working a 9 to 5 now, and it's like you said, the roles has completely switched, right? And that's what I mean. Like I'm still I still see myself as the provider. I still see myself as an emotional support, and it's crazy how much stress a woman or the spouse can endure whenever they're just at home. Like I'm the type that can't just sit down, you know. I got to be learning something, I got to be doing something, I got to be active in something. And that's what's killing me right now. But ever since um I got back into day trading, and then Elijah Patton is been my mentor and helping me grow my portfolio from where I didn't even think I could be possible. You know what I'm saying? I've
Yeah.
read the books, I've seen the videos, and that's the thing. Like the videos only show you so much. Like, they don't show you the entire
for
thing. They
sure.
don't show you the
For
entire
sure.
strategy that they go by,
Mhm.
and that's where it's misleading, and that's where YouTube kind of fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Is because they want you to keep coming back, right? I'm gonna be completely transparent. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like, and this
for
is what
sure.
this show is about, is being completely transparent. And
Yes.
YouTube, like people that are like the top earners and stuff in YouTube and stuff, they'll give you bits and pieces of what is actually happening just so they can make you come back. So that way they can make you
Exactly. That's like business 101. It's like you
business
Exactly.
gotta
101,
keep
right?
learning.
They're
Exactly.
gonna dangle that fish right in front of you, and then all of a sudden you're like reaching for it, but you're gonna keep easing forward. You're gonna keep easing forward, and you're gonna get to a point where you have to continue to watch them, so that way you continue to learn
Right.
Yeah.
instead
That's
of
what Diddy
going.
did. When Diddy had all the motherfuckers coming into it's like, hey, motherfucker, I got 15 grand for you right now, baby. But you come back, you getting in 100 grand. And I'm gonna give you it's true. All right.
But
My bad.
no, you good, homie. You good. God damn. All right.
no,
Diddy is
yeah,
rich as fuck,
definitely.
all right. Regardless.
Hey,
Anyway,
but I
no,
appreciate you
yeah.
guys tuning in to the Legacy of Ours. We talked about intentions, we talked about business, we talked about finance, all the above, how to go about it, what to look for, what not to look for, and how to go about it. I thank you for tuning in to the Legacy of Ours. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Nelson. You got Neto, and you have Drew as well. Thank you again for tuning in
You guys
to the
are the
Legacy
best.
of Ours.
Don't forget the
To the legacy,
comments.
baby.
Tell us what you thought.
Yes,
For
please
real.
do.
We will bring them up in the the next episode. We'll talk about it. And we got merch. We're working on it.
Yeah,
It's
Working
a
on the
work in
merch.
progress, but
we
we thank you
working
for
on it.
supporting us. We love you guys.